Now to the legal landscape. Our legal analyst, attorney Dan Adams, joins us every Monday, breaking down the biggest cases happening across Wisconsin and the country. Good morning, Dan. A Wisconsin man is making national headlines after allegedly faking his own death and fleeing the country to be with a woman he met online. The Green Lake County Sheriff is considering criminal charges now. What potential legal liability does Ryan Borgwart have for his actions?
Oh boy, well, that is the question. We know that he has moral culpability, meaning he's morally responsible for his actions, obviously to the community that was looking for him for months and the family that he left behind and made to think that he was deceased. But there's a difference, of course, between moral responsibility and legal responsibility. Here I've been looking over this situation and been talking with other criminal law friends on both prosecution and defense side about what this individual could be facing. And it looks like misdemeanor obstructing, which could include placing evidence where you think it would mislead a police officer. So reasonably, he knew that police would investigate this, what he made look like a drowning. So that would be the big part. Disorderly conduct, the most common misdemeanor that we have in Wisconsin, is also at play. Both of those could invoke restitution for the county. All of those costs that it took to go look for him, he certainly could have foreseen that that would have happened. Now, of course, we know that there is a $375,000 life insurance policy that he took out in January. Now, whether or not he did that with the intent that his widow, in air quotes here, would receive that policy, that could also invoke a Class I, which is the lowest level felony in Wisconsin. However, we don't know if that policy was ever presented. So it could, of course, be an attempt, which creates an even lower penalty for him. So he has some culpability, but not much.
Yeah, a lot of eyes on that case. We'll see what happens throughout the upcoming months. Turning to another story this morning, former Wisconsin Supreme Court Justice Michael Gableman is accused of numerous violations for his controversial review of the 2020 election in Wisconsin. Dan, is he at risk of losing his ability to practice law?
He certainly is. The Office of Lawyer Regulation only files a complaint once there's been a grievance, which we know many people have filed grievances against him, including potentially Speaker Robin Vos. After those grievances are received, there's an initial investigation. The findings of that investigation go to a review board, which do a thumbs up or a thumbs down of whether a complaint is filed. Obviously, it's gone through that, and a 10-count complaint has been filed. Now, Gableman has the right to answer this complaint, and then he has the right to have a full-blown proceeding in front of what's called a referee, who will find facts and present a report. And that report will go to the Supreme Court of Wisconsin, which will ultimately approve or disapprove the report. And it could go towards whether it's a sanction, a public reprimand rather, or it could be his law license being taken away for a period or completely.
Yeah, something we will continue to track. Dan, thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you again next Monday for more of the legal landscape.